Joining me once again is my Forbes colleague, staff writer Zack Everson. Zack, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for bringing me back, Brittany. Appreciate it.
You have your latest reporting is on the business dealings of President Donald Trump's eldest son, and you report that after Donald Trump Jr. joined his second new board, U.S. contracts followed. And the latest company we're talking about today is Unusual Machines. So to start off the conversation, give us the rundown here. What is the company? What do they produce? What does that look like?
So, Unusual Machines manufactures drones. They started off in 2019. They went through a couple different names. They went public in February 2024 in a $5 million IPO, which is not all that much. And at that time, they also acquired a drone, like a video goggles for drone pilots company, and an e-commerce site for drones and drone accessories. So that is what they do there. They are looking to get into military products. And one of the things that they're using to differentiate themselves from other drone manufacturers is that they're trying to do, source other products and source and construct it themselves in America. So it can comply with a lot of this, Make America push that we're seeing right now out of the Trump administration.
So an America First drone company. You mentioned the $5 million IPO. I mean, that doesn't sound like too much. So how was the company doing before Donald Trump Jr. got involved?
Fledgling company, so can be tough to tell from these things, but based on its reports with the Securities and Exchange Commission, made about $5.6 million in revenue last year, and then it was $4 million in the first 6 months of this year.
And so then it seemed like the tides really turned for Unusual Machines once Don Jr. joined the board almost a year ago in November of 2024. Talk to us about how exactly he got involved and then what happened for the company after that.
Yeah, so Don Jr. Joined the board shortly after his father was reelected. Now, he did buy shares of the company in a private placement in October, so before his father was reelected. So we did have some sort of connection with this company beforehand. But after Dad wins, they put him on the advisory board. The CEO told me there actually had not been an advisory board previously, and the only person on it that he would name was Donald Trump Jr. He said he believes there are 4 members there. Wouldn't even tell me if the other ones were members of the Trump organization. So a little bit interesting there, but the last 3 months, we've really seen this company explode. It got about over $15.2 million in contracts, all either from defense contractors or one was actually directly from the Army itself.
Wow, so that's really incredible, but I'm curious about that conversation with the CEO of Unusual Machines. He couldn't name any other advisory board members. Is that typical when you're talking to a CEO that they don't know who the board members are, A? And B, what else did he say in that conversation that stuck out to you?
Well, I think he knew who they were. He just wouldn't tell me. And the fact that he wouldn't confirm whether or not they were Trump org staffers is also very interesting to me. The other thing he said that really stood out was that he compared Donald Trump Jr.'s work for their company, sort of like what Oprah did for Weight Watchers, where you have this high-profile celebrity who's out there and just by being associated with the brand is elevating it. That didn't really strike me as a great comparison because, Oprah is well known for publicly discussing health and weight for ages. Whereas Donald Trump Jr., he's apparently a licensed aviator who used drones for fishing, but there's a lot of things that you might immediately think about with Donald Trump Jr. Drones is not one of them. And, I looked into this actually. Oprah's father was not in a position to award government contracts to Weight Watchers, whereas Donald Trump Jr.'s father is in a position to award government contracts or influence them to go to Unusual Machines.
And so I'm curious then, what is Don Jr. when you're looking at his resume? Because obviously he got his start in the real estate business. He's involved in the Trump organization, has been for years. I mean, is there anything on that resume that would make him uniquely qualified to serve on this board of a company that deals with the drone industry, drone technology, things like that?
Yeah, I think there is. And I think that's sharing a name with the president. That would go right at the top of that resume. I think that is the one item that's really up there. There's nothing with real estate. He owns a publishing company or co-founded a publishing company. Nothing that really strikes me. He's an entrepreneur, so there's some overlap there. But I think a lot of it is they wanted an influencer in MAGA world, and they got one of the biggest names out there.
So then, in his role, in his day to day, if there is one on this advisory board, what exactly does he do?
Not much. It sounds like he is just there to kind of serve as an influencer, to brand awareness. When the CEO, I was talking to him on a Saturday, and he said, "Hey, if I didn't have Donald Trump Jr. as with our company, would I be talking to Forbes on a Saturday?" And the company also recently was profiled in the New York Times, Financial Times, Bloomberg. So they're getting a lot of attention that they would not have otherwise gotten, most likely if it hadn't been for Donald Trump Jr. The big question though is, are they getting contracts they might not have otherwise gotten if it wasn't for Donald Trump Jr.? And that we don't really know. Most places, the places we reached out to and were able to get in touch with, denied him having any influence on their decision.